Okay, so I need to take a windshield off. You don't need to buy anything special. Just find the nearest, painting you got in the house, and you've got everything you need right here to take a windshield off a car. Now, when you're dealing with like a 50-year-old car like this, you take your wire and you take some wood or something, pry it up until you can get in there. And it doesn't really matter where you start. And the rest, you need two hands. But basically, you just saw it back and forth. So, once it's in there like that, you just, you can, I use my hand with a glove. I just put gloves on and I just saw it back and forth. And that's it. You go around as far as you can. And I usually stop about right here on Corvettes because this piece droops down in there. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep it in one piece because this is an OEM piece and it's not cracked. But even though I'm going to keep it in one piece, I'm not going to probably use it because it's got a really bad delamination issue going on here, where water has gotten in between the pane, or the glass panes. So it's not cracked. It's like a plastic. Now see here, it fell out. You know, there's like a tempered glass and then a plastic piece and then another piece of tempered glass all smashed together. I think anyway. Johnny Van K will tell you, he's been around old cars a lot longer than me, and he knows what he's talking about. So maybe he'll chime in. By the way, if you guys ain't following him, you need to follow him. He will teach you more than you ever thought you needed to learn. Anyway, so we're going to get the rest of this windshield off. I've already got it pretty loose right now just because it's ancient and old. If you're dealing with one that is really on there, sometimes you need to come in, find the biggest gap area you can find. It's usually around here where there's a big gap, a OEM gap. And you just take a scribe, and get the hole big enough to get this in there. And then once it's in there, you just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and just work your way down and up and around, and there you go. And then get a friend, a family member, helper, and once this thing, you can both pull on it equally, and and you'll hear this one starting to separate. This little area I told you that's hard to get to because the seal is up here. It's not here. Well, I'm not pointing right. The seal is in this area. So it's kind of difficult to saw it. Yeah, take your hood off or flip it up. But anyway, so that's it. Just go back and forth and work your way around, and it's not that hard, really. Oh, Corvette specific situation here. There's this thing right here that holds this up. I've already done it. I just pushed it back a little bit. So that way it won't be hitting metal. You don't want, and there's two more. There's one here, and there's another one over there. And so if you can get this out, that's ideal. But as you can tell, it's pretty rusty, so it may come out, it may not. I'm going to try to get it, it may come out with a screwdriver, or it may require you to drill it out. If you can't do either, well, you got to do either. You really do. Before you try to pull this or lift it up, because you don't want this to grab the glass while you're moving it back and forth. Because if it hits the glass too hard, it will crack, and it doesn't take just a microscopic crack before next thing you know, that crack's all the way up. Oh, and what I was about to say earlier is when you're dealing with a real old car, usually the vital tape or vital or vittle or whatever the hell they call it, sealer or whatever, is so old and crusty. It's going to be a lot easier. Well, it's easier and harder. It's harder because it's hard. it's not pliable anymore. And it's easier because it doesn't have any glue anymore. It's not an adhesive anymore. It almost just wants to come off the rust anyway. So anyway, there's some things I've learned over the years about these old cars. And you just go back and forth like this. Work your way down. Some will go easier than others, like that. Just like that, until you're done.